Here's something that might sound completely unbelievable. There's a transaction recorded in scripture where one person received over
Whoa,
$416 million
$416 million?
in today's
I can't
value
believe it.
for a single consultation. Not a year of work, not a lifetime contract. One visit, one conversation, hundreds of millions. And here's the interesting part. This isn't just an ancient story. It's a business blueprint that reveals exactly why talented, hardworking people stay broke while others prosper. Today, I'm breaking down King Solomon's wealth model that generated the equivalent of $416 million per client. This isn't theory. It's a proven framework for transforming your skills into sustainable income. If you truly understand what happened here, it will change how you think about money, value, and pricing. Let's dive in. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I'm doing everything right? So why does money still feel hard? You're responsible. You work hard. You've developed real skills. People depend on you. They trust you. They respect you. But somehow at the end of every month, it still feels like survival. Still feels like juggling. Still feels like you're one unexpected expense away from money stress. Then you open social media, and there's someone who seems less disciplined, less experienced, less qualified, living better than you, making more than you by simply teaching what they know. And that quiet frustration creeps in. What am I missing? Here's what most people never realize. Income struggles are rarely about effort. They're about positioning, value perception, and how the world understands what you bring to the table. Think about it. You shouldn't be incredibly skilled and still financially invisible. Solomon understood something most people still don't. Your reward isn't tied to how hard you work. It's tied to how valuable you become. And value is not measured by time spent. It's measured by problems solved, outcomes changed, and transformation delivered. When people talk about King Solomon, they focus on wisdom and skip the economic implications of his wisdom. Yet the Bible is extremely clear. King Solomon wasn't just wise, he was wealthy beyond comprehension. Silver became as common as stones in Jerusalem. Kings traveled across continents just to sit with him. Why? Because wisdom that produces results becomes irresistibly valuable. Here's the reality. Expertise without positioning is just invisible talent. But expertise positioned correctly, that's wealth. And Solomon mastered positioning in ways that still work today. Let me show you exactly what he did. 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 1 records something fascinating. When the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to test him with hard questions. Notice something critical here. She didn't come to admire him. She didn't come for inspiration. She came with hard questions, like leadership questions, economic questions, and strategic questions that carried the weight of a kingdom. Because when you rule a nation, bad decisions are catastrophic and good decisions are priceless. She came for counsel, clarity, answers, and insight. In modern language, that's high-level consulting. Now watch what happens next. She arrives with an extravagant caravan, gold, spices, precious stones. After hearing Solomon's wisdom, Scripture says there was no more spirit in her. She was overwhelmed, not entertained. Overwhelmed because true wisdom doesn't just impress you, it destabilizes your previous thinking. And when she leaves, she gives Solomon 120 talents of gold. Now let's slow that down because this number matters. One talent was roughly 70 pounds. 120 talents equals 8,400 pounds of gold. That converts to 134,400 ounces. Gold today sits at around $3,100 per ounce. That equals $416,640,000 for one advisory encounter. Now, some people hear that and immediately shut down thinking, well, that's different. That was a king and that was ancient times, so it doesn't apply to me. But pause. Don't focus on the event, focus on the pattern. Here's what this pattern reveals. King Solomon was not paid for his time. He was compensated for the transformation he provided to reshape economies, policies, and power structures. So when the outcome is massive, the compensation follows suit. Now, think about your own life. If someone helped you avoid a disastrous investment, what would that be worth? If someone helped you double your income, what would that be worth? If someone helped you fix a broken business or save your marriage, What would that be worth? Yet most people still price like this. How many hours will this take? Instead of, how much is this change worth? And that single mindset error keeps brilliant people broke. This is the first key to biblical wealth building. Charge for transformation, not time. If this is already shifting how you think about your value, I need you to do two things right now. First, subscribe to Faithwise Finances for more practical biblical wealth wisdom every week.
Just click right here.
Second, comment transformation, not time, so I know you're tracking with this. Because what I'm about to show you next is King Solomon's complete income architecture and how you can build the same structure right away. Solomon's income model wasn't accidental. It was layered, intentional, and diversified. He didn't rely on one stream. He built multiple channels of value extraction. Let me break down the three channels. 1. High-ticket advisory. First, he advised his contemporaries, leaders, kings, decision-makers operating at high stakes. He solved expensive problems for powerful people. This is your high-ticket stream. Find people in your field who need your level of results. Not beginners. Focus on your peers who want to elevate. 2. Scalable teaching. 1 Kings 10:24 says, "All the earth sought Solomon to hear his wisdom." He couldn't possibly meet everyone privately. So what did he do? He leveraged communication, public teaching, and mass influence. People didn't just come to listen to him, they paid. Verse 25 says, "Each man brought his present year by year." Everyone contributed something of value because his wisdom was never treated as casual. It was honored, exchanged, rewarded. This is your mid-ticket stream. Courses, workshops, group programs. Same wisdom, more people, accessible pricing. 3. Recurring tribute. Notice those three critical words, year by year. Not one-time payments, recurring revenue, predictable income, wealth that compounds. This is your continuity stream. Memberships, coaching programs, subscription offerings. Do you see the structure forming? High-ticket advisory, scalable teaching, recurring tribute. This isn't modern business theory. It's ancient wealth architecture. And here's where this becomes relevant to you. You are likely sitting on knowledge that other people desperately need, but you've normalized giving it away cheaply, or worse, for free. Let's confront something uncomfortable. Many talented people hide behind humility. I don't want to seem greedy. I just want to help people. I'm not really an expert. Meanwhile, they struggle financially, resentful, exhausted, and always under pressure. But there is nothing holy about underpricing your God-given value or living in constant lack when you carry solutions, and there's absolutely nothing noble about shrinking what you've been entrusted with. Solomon never apologized for being valuable. He stewarded it, positioned it, and multiplied it. Here's the truth. If you only get paid when you show up physically, you don't own a business. You own a job with unstable income. King Solomon built systems where value flowed continuously, year by year, repeatedly, predictably. That's the difference between income and wealth. Income depends on activity. Wealth depends on structure. Now, here's how Solomon built his reputation in a time with no internet, no social media, no modern marketing. 1 Kings chapter 4 tells us he wrote 3,000 proverbs and over 1,000 songs. He also taught about nature, animals, life, and systems. That's relentless output, consistency, and intellectual generosity at scale. But here's the brilliance. He didn't just produce content. He extracted profound insight from ordinary things. Trees, birds, daily life, human behavior. As an expert, he saw patterns where others saw randomness, and he saw lessons where others see boredom. Over time, his influence, authority, and trust compounded. In modern terms, Solomon went viral. Then comes the defining moment. The Queen of Sheba arrives and says, "The half was not told me." Because powerful positioning works like this. Your content attracts curiosity, but your delivery creates conviction. Let me ask you directly. How different would your life be today if you had received a house and financial head start from your parents? How many struggles would have been avoided? How many opportunities accelerated? How much stress eliminated? So, why do we normalize our children starting from scratch? Why accept cycles of financial strain as destiny? Here's the reality. Money is not evil. It's leverage. It's a tool. It's decision-making power. In wise hands, its impact multiplies. But in foolish hands, problems multiply. The question isn't whether you should build wealth. The question is, will you steward it wisely when you do? Now, bring this back to you. What problems can you solve? What clarity can you provide? What transformation can you create? What knowledge do you carry that others would pay to access? Stop thinking, I just do. Start thinking, I help people achieve. Because income only flows towards perceived transformation. Here's your challenge within the next 24 hours. Step 1. Identify one area where you possess real competence. What do people consistently ask you about? What comes naturally to you that others struggle with? Step 2. Define the specific transformation you can help someone achieve, not what you do, what result you deliver. Step 3. Create a simple offer around that transformation. It will feel uncomfortable, imperfect, maybe even scary. Do it anyway. You don't need more information. You need execution. Because the real tragedy isn't a lack of opportunity. It's buried capability, unclaimed value, and unmonetized wisdom. Here's what most people forget. Somewhere in your future, your children and grandchildren will live inside the consequences of the financial decisions you begin making today. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." Not just values, not just memories, inheritance. House and riches, according to Proverbs 19:14, are the inheritance of fathers. You may not have come from a wealthy family, but you can make sure a wealthy family comes from you. You were never designed just to survive. You were designed to steward, to build, to multiply, to impact, and to leave inheritances. If this shifted something inside you, subscribe to Faithwise Finances and comment, "I'm building my wealth," so I know you're taking action. Because wisdom without action is just information, and information without transformation is just entertainment. You were made for more than entertainment. Now go build your wealth. The world is waiting for what you have to offer.